Lesson number 5 for Thursday, July 27th. The Church, a Holy Temple. What culminating set of images does Paul use in Ephesians 2:11-22 to signal unity between Jews and Gentiles in the church? Wherefore remember that you, being in time past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time you were without Christ, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world. But now, in Christ Jesus, you who sometimes were far off are made near by the blood of Christ. For he is our peace, who has made both one, and has broken down the middle wall of partition between us, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of two one new man, so making peace, and that he might reconcile both to God in one body by the cross, having slain the enmity thereby, and came and preached peace to you which were afar off, and to them that were near. For through him we both have access by one Spirit to the Father. Now therefore you are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of God, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together grows to a holy temple in the Lord. In him you also are built together for a habitation of God through the Spirit. Reviewing Ephesians 2, we recall that verses 1-10 teach that we live in solidarity with Jesus, while verses 11-22 teach that we live in solidarity with others as part of his church. Jesus' death was both vertical benefits in establishing our relationship with God, Ephesians 2:1-10, and horizontal ones in cementing our relationship with others, Ephesians 2:11-22. Through the cross, Jesus demolishes all that divides the Gentile believers from Jewish ones, including the misuse of the law, in order to widen the gulf, Ephesians 2:11-18. Jesus also builds something, an amazing new temple composed of believers, Gentiles, who were once excluded from worship in the sacred places of the temple, now join Jewish believers in becoming a new temple. We all become part of God's church, a holy temple in the Lord, Ephesians 2:19-22, and are privileged to live in solidarity with Jesus and our brothers and sisters in Christ. Paul employs the metaphor of the church as temple, as a culminating image for the full inclusion of Gentiles in the church. Once banned from worship in the court of Israel, in the temple, they now not only gain access, but themselves become building materials for a new temple designed as a dwelling place of God in the Spirit, Ephesians 2:22. New Testament authors employ the temple metaphor to visualize the sanctity of the church, God's role in founding and growing the church, and the solidarity of believers within the church. The metaphor is used in conjunction with biological language, where the temple grows, and the process of building is often accentuated. You also are being built together. Rather than a static image, the church is able to acknowledge its identity as the temple of the living God. 2 Corinthians 6:16. From the book Testimonies for the Church, Volume 9, page 180, it says, "The Jewish temple was built of hewn stones quarried out of mountains, and every stone was fitted for its place in the temple, hewed, polished, and tested before it was brought to Jerusalem. And when all were brought to the ground, the building went together without the sound of an axe or hammer." This building represents God's spiritual temple, which is composed of material gathered out of every nation, tongue, and people, of all grades, high and low, rich and poor, learned and unlearned. These are not dead substances to be fitted by hammer and chisel. They are living stones quarried out from the world by the truth. And the great master builder, the Lord of the temple, is now hewing and polishing them and fitting them for their respective places in the spiritual temple. When completed, this temple will be perfect in all its parts, and admiration of angels and of men, for its builder and maker is